The next announcement we got was Phil Spencer in front of a monitor talking about, how he wants to bring more Japanese studios on board on Xbox. And he had a little game to show us one of the most requested franchises, he said, from Japan.
Good timing,
and that is Persona. So Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal are all coming to Xbox, starting with Persona 5 Royal on October 21st. All of them are going to be Game Pass day and date when they come out, and they will be on Xbox. We learned after the show as well, they're also coming to PC and PlayStation, so if you do have those consoles and not Xbox, don't worry, you're not out of luck. But somehow... I
think they'll be coming to another console as well.
No, they are coming. They announced today they are coming to PlayStation.
Yeah, they just haven't announced...
I meant another
Switch.
I think they're coming to another console.
They didn't say Switch.
Yeah, you know why?
Switch.
Because Nintendo is going to say
I
think they're be coming to Switch as well.
Yeah. Oh, thank God they're bringing it at the same time when the game's already coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, so I felt bad for Sean and Court in this moment that this got
Why?
done.
I didn't know. I was the most animated I've ever seen Ryan in my life.
Describe it to me.
So as soon as I saw...
Tell me the tale of Ryan.
As soon as I saw the Atlas logo pop up with the colors blue, yellow, and red kind of streaming through the characters, it was over. I knew what it was. I could not believe it. I screamed from the top of my lungs.
You did. It was
in hilarious.
The
arena, to the point
was
where
pitch? Was
okay, you know the president, the guy who was running for president. His name was Dean or last name Dean or whatever, and he's like, that was Ryan. It was like the same sort of like it was like
wow.
It was a loud like it was
cut
loud.
Out, but I know exactly what you meant.
Yeah, there was actually someone took a reaction video at the event for Persona and put it up on YouTube. And you can, if you listen to it, it's literally just you hear me from the back of the room because this guy.
I need a link, guys.
Just me going, yeah, like I was.
Yeah,
wow.
So I think an actual Persona like showed up behind you. Like you're like.
Did he leave his
transformed?
Chair?
His soul did.
I could not believe my eyes.
Did people around you look worried? Were they like, "What the?"
No, I was laughing. I thought it was the most hilarious thing I've ever witnessed because I was. Ryan showed he was the most animated I've ever seen him, and I was so happy for him. And as the content creator here as the social media person, my next thought was, why didn't I tape this? Because I knew it was going to happen. Because I saw it on my phone. Because I was sending out tweets for our stuff, and I saw that, and it was more I wanted to be caught in the moment to see Ryan's excitement because like Ryan and I were talking and we knew some of the stuff that was about to be announced, but I found out this while we were sitting there and I was like, because I just saw it trending on Twitter. I saw Atlas trending and I'm like, oh my God, they're about to announce Persona. I'm like, oh my God. I was
literally for the hype. I would have loved to have seen it.
It was unbelievable. He was so animated and so happy, and I was just happy for him.
But
yeah,
Ryan,
I get so excited to see people excited.
Did you know, Ryan, that it was going to be all three? Like the way that this, like, it's a huge. There's a lot to unpack here. Aside from Ryan's hype,
did you guys hide off Twitter? Did you get away from the snitching?
I didn't see any of it. I didn't see until the moment before it showed up.
Because that broke early.
Yeah, so the moment before it showed up, and one of the reasons I wanted to get the heck away from Court in this whole thing is he knew all the things. I was polar opposite.
I didn't know all of them. I knew like 3 things.
You knew enough. And so the whole thing that I kept saying is like, I can't sit next to him because he's going to be that person going like, now this is going to happen. Now, and he's like,
but I never did that.
You did it for this one. And I dropped an F-bomb. I'm like, shut
Ryan,
it absolutely
Sean would have put you in a headlock.
Well, I'm like,
I was sitting right beside Ryan.
Actually, she literally turned to me and was like, "Just let me watch." Well,
that broke like super early in the morning. The snitch hit that one, and it was like almost everywhere.
But I hadn't seen it at all. I didn't know it was coming.
That's
but
awesome.
Again, like I yelled as soon as it started, which bugged Sean because the second I saw the Atlas logo with those 3 colors, I knew it was all 3 games, and I knew what was coming. Like as a Persona fan, as someone who's been played these games, pretty religiously now for the last couple of years. Like I knew from that moment that this was what the announcement was. And
do you have it in you to run them all again?
I'm doing it.
110%.
I will so much video game.
Donnie, I am pretty sure I'm going to get all 3,000 achievement points.
Wow.
That's my goal too, Ryan.
Commendable.
I know for a fact I can get Persona 5 Royal because it's easy. I got the platinum in 87 hours. It's not even a big deal. Like
we are in the company of gods.
So
we are not worthy.
I've already played 4, so I'll just use a guide. Like there's no spoilers.
Like easy.
Yeah. 90 hours. Imagine the trophy. I would imagine the achievements for Persona 4 are going to be the same as the Vita ones.
Yeah,
or very similar.
For sure.
It'll be Persona 3 that'll be the curveball, because that game's never had trophies.
Yep,
so
that's the one I don't know what to like. I googled the trophy list to see, and there was no trophy list, and I was like, okay, I don't know what 3 is going to look like. But I got clipped too, Ryan. It's on my Twitter account, me freaking out, and everyone's like, "Is it 5?" I was like, and they're like, "No, it's 4." And I was like, "Guys, this is 3. What are you talking? Like, this is not 4." And then they did 4, and then 5, and I was like,
"That's what I'm getting at, man. Like this is like Persona for the first time. These games, they're rolling it out all three on Game Pass. They're giving you 5 first. I think they're doing it right. You guys are all skipping over the thing that we all want to talk about, which is let's get to the hot springs. Let's meet up with our waifus. Like these guys are all like the mechanics of this JRPG. Blah blah. Like let's just pick our favorite lady in these games.
Tamaki,
okay.
For sure.
Music is also very good, but like really, we're just
games are not
over.
for me. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm with you, Court. I've got Persona stuff here on my shelf. I'm such a poser. I've watched the animes. I've got the manga. I like Persona, but I don't do the games because for all the reasons that Ryan already knows. Not into RPGs really.
Yeah,
there's just too much commitment. They're too slow. The turn-based thing is I don't like any of them. Like Dragon Quest, I don't like
just
Final Fantasy. I've played them. No, I played 30 hours of Persona 5. That's about as much as I could do.
Yeah,
like after like 30 hours, I was like, I've got to move on.
The tutorial.
You were almost halfway there.
I know.
In fact, believe it or not, between the 3 games, I would say for someone who's interested in, who's listening to this, who's interested in getting into these games and wants to know the shortest game, it's actually Persona 3. Like that's the one that you can get in, play it for 40 hours and you're done.
I actually thought the one for me was Strikers. I was so excited for Strikers, and then I got Strikers, and I realized it's also a Persona game, and it takes forever to beat. And I was like, never mind.
Yeah, that game was like 40 hours too, and I was surprised by that. It just kept going and going.
It just kept going. It was like I can't do this guy.
Golden, I think, is longer than Royal for me. Like it took me longer to get through Persona 4 Golden than it did Persona 5 Royal. I don't know if that's just
you know better than me. That's opposite of what I heard, but I'm not here to argue that point. What I want to talk about really quickly maybe is I saw, maybe because of this one, maybe there's a couple other announcements, but I think primarily because of what happened with Persona, so many people say, I guess I'm getting an Xbox now. After the show, a lot of people tagging me, a lot of people just saying on their own, I guess it's time. Like
I did not see a lot of that.
This is a huge moment for that. Like
PlayStation people lost their minds.
Big time.
I saw a lot of people mad.
I saw a lot of people.
I didn't see a whole lot of people.
There's the other
betrayed us.
There's other change.org stuff that's happening.
I had my co-host on 3 Dads, Waba. He has never had an Xbox. He got Game Pass. He has always said, if the Persona games come here, he's like, I'm in. And then they came to Game Pass, and I messaged him, and he's like, I'm in.
Which is so remarkable because they exist somewhere else. But like, don't let me stop anybody. Like that is amazing. But we've seen Xbox and like Phil and the whole team try this many, many times before. Like, let's try to make a statement about Japan. Let's try to have these games. And we've seen some really good moves. Tales of Arise is a good example. Scarlet Nexus is a good example.
It was so nice not to see them like trot Shinji Mikami out there again.
Yeah, right. Like, and this is
something else.
This one mattered. This wasn't them like speaking to it, but not quite landing it. It's like they had 2, and we'll get to the next one right away here. Like announcements that really had some heft to it. It wasn't trying to get to the point. It was the point. So I was happy to see that they finally nailed it, and I can't wait to see what happens. But yeah, I definitely felt a bit of a momentum shift, which is why Xbox has a showcase at not E3. And I'm stoked that they made a statement like this. I think it's important. I think that, just to throw a little shot across the bow, PlayStation chose not to participate. They are doing the bare minimum with their state of play and whatever the hell we're supposed to get a little bit later on, and jumping on with Jeff Keighley. This was why I came away from the showcase thinking this was such a big deal. Like they came to play
Sean,
the game.
To counter your point, I bought a PlayStation this week.
You bought a used one. That does nobody any good.
$300, I heard. Impressive.
It is amazing
for a PS5.
Yep.
Good.
But it was all because of The Last of Us, though. That's one game on its own. But the same.
But again, I guess it doesn't really matter. But
I do have a follow-up point for
taken.
Sean. He's over here, this kind of signals an intent, right, for Xbox, like a massive one. So do we think Persona 6 is going to be a date on Xbox?
I still think PlayStation will try very hard to write a check, because that's how they are. They are very committed to making sure that the brands that are synonymous with PlayStation stay synonymous with PlayStation. We've seen it in Final Fantasy. So I expect that they'll continue to do so. But that is the question, because it's great that these games are coming. I don't mean to demean. This is a huge announcement. Everything Sean said is right. But the fans of these games have already played them, right?
Apparently they're going to play them again.
Well, I would bring the point. Are we going to see a different PlayStation now? Because, like, to Kevin's point, yes, Xbox did probably the most. Hey, here's something for everyone, and here's the future of Xbox, and we're not just going down this one path of these 3 games that we always trot out there. We're going to expand into PC. We're going to expand into Japan. They were selling Xbox S's out there, but Sony, for the first time ever, is going down a new path. PlayStation Plus launched today. They're putting games out on PC. Spider-Man, their character they own, will be on Xbox. Like, not the Spider-Man game, but Midnight Sun, Spider-Man's in it. Before, they wouldn't even allow it on Avengers. So, is Sony going down a different path? Are they going to have to invest in other games that are going to have to come out on that platform? Right? No, I get that, but that was a check they wrote already.
I think you have to look at the relationships. PlayStation has a much deeper relationship with Square Enix. I think if anyone has a better relationship with Sega, who owns Atlas, right? It's Xbox. Xbox has a better relationship with Sega this generation.
That's true. I bring that up all the time, but they've worked really closely with Sega for 20 years. That's not new, though. It's not a new relationship. They've been really close with Sega for the last 3 console generations.
Yeah, but how many times did they say no and they regret it? That could have happened, right? We've heard stories about games.
I'm just pointing that they've been really close with Sega, and they didn't get Persona until now.
I don't think
that's more of an Atlas thing and less of a Sega thing, because I think Atlas does make some decisions as to where it's.
I get that feeling too.
And we've heard about it from people from Atlas before about how they're worried about their games coming to other consoles, thinking that, you know, for some reason, if they put their games on somewhere other than PlayStation, that they're not going to sell at all. But with a deal like this with Game Pass and Microsoft writing the check, it almost doesn't matter if those games were going to sell, because they're getting all the money. Probably, like, Microsoft probably paid them the entire amount that people would have probably bought those games on Xbox anyways. Probably. So at that point, then it's kind of like a no-lose situation.
I've thought that these games are coming to Xbox and PC and Switch. The reason I said that I still think they're coming to Switch is ever since they brought was it Persona 3 to PC, and then they sent out that questionnaire where they were like, hey, when do you want more Persona games? And they had that questionnaire. I thought since that survey went out and since they did that, I was they're getting ready to go multi-platform.
They just did another survey too. I filled it out again for like the 3rd year in a row. And you were speaking, Ryan, it doesn't matter if these games don't sell because they got the Game Pass money. What game does matter if it sells? Soul Hackers 2. If you want more Atlas games on Xbox, support that game when it comes out in August.
Yeah, I hope this is a shift, as you guys said, and I hope it is more multi-platform, because players should have the option to choose where they want to play. In my opinion, these are beloved. This is a beloved franchise.
Yeah, I think this is a big statement from Atlas that they're ready to put their games on other platforms. Like I made it in my predictions as well that I think a game like 13 Sentinels comes to Xbox at some point. I think a game like Catherine Full Body is on the table now, coming back to Xbox.
Oh, now that's my game.
After being missing from Xbox for years. I think everything's on the table for Atlas now.
Thanks for watching this clip of the Xbox Drive. You can watch the full episode right here at youtube.com/carpoolgaming. It would warm my soul if you could hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And let us know what you think about our topic today. We'd love to hear from you, so leave a comment below, and we try our best to reply to every single comment.